Hello, welcome to our Family Life podcast brought to you by the International Missionary Society University Campus Fellowship. My name is Mulenga. We are tackling an important topic today because in Zambia, we know that the average Zambian adolescent begins to get sexually active by the time they are reaching their mid-teens. To discuss this topic, I have Sister Ines, who is the Family Life Department leader at the University Campus Fellowship. Sister Ines, welcome to this episode.
Thank you, Mulenga, and thank you, viewers.
Okay, so I think we're just going to dive right in. Teenagers are very sensitive people because they are going through all these psychological and physiological changes in their lives and in their bodies, and they tend to be quite withdrawn, and they're trying to make sense of life and what they're going through. How do we address the aspect of sexuality to these children, to these people that are transitioning from being children into being young adults? How do we relay information about sexuality, and what strategies can best be used to convey this information to them?
Thank you. Nice question, Mulenga. So to answer that, I will direct you to Genesis 1 verse 27. It says, "In the beginning God created man and woman, and these two became one." So when you are dealing with this group of children, you're dealing with people that know about sex, they have learned in schools, and I think last week we discussed how you can deal with the children who are less than 12 years. So these are 12, 13, pre-teens and teens, so they know about sex. And they have learned in schools, and you as a parent has laid that foundation. So with these children, first you take them to creation. God created man and woman, and when these two came together, they became one and they started reproducing. So you are bringing in the aspect of reproduction. And a youth or a teenager will say, "But I don't want to reproduce." So you also bring in the aspect of pleasure. So you direct children to say, sex is there, it exists, and it's there for pleasure and reproduction. But then this sex is sacred. God wants this sex to be between people that are married, and you are not married. So what are you supposed to do? So as you are dealing with this teenage, one of the strategies, take them to Christ, take them to creation, and also bring in the aspect of sex before marriage is sin. So you bring in the issue of sexual purity, you bring in this issue of sin, but then sometimes even when you bring all these, youths and teenagers will not listen. So you also bring in the issue of diseases that come as a result of sex. And we have seen children who are born with diseases, children who contract diseases. Now, when you are having this conversation with your children, make sure that you are a trusted person. You have laid that foundation already, and children sometimes are curious. For example, a girl, maybe a daughter, because of their relationship that you have, will be like, "Mom, I like that boy." Most of the time, as parents will say, "Stop that, don't say that, you are too young," and whatever. Validate their feelings. They like the boy. When you are 12 years, there are boys you liked. Validate to say, "Yeah, actually he's a nice guy, he's a cute boy," but then you are too young, so make sure you concentrate on school. "I want to attend your wedding, I want to walk you down the aisle," and you assure the child, like, yes, they like the boy, but then there are these things they have to achieve before then. And then you also bring in the issue of reproduction. In a case you get pregnant, you are too young to handle this. So a child will appreciate. Why? Because you have assured them that what they are feeling is normal. So one of the things is validate their feelings. Another thing is confidentiality. Children also want their information to be kept even from their own siblings, from their own other parent, maybe the father or the mother sometimes. So make sure that you are confidential about issues and how you handle your children.
Sister Ines has said some very important points when it comes to strategies that can help address sexuality in adolescence. And I think one thing that we can't run away from is the fact that at that age, pre-teens and early teens, the human nature, whether male or female, is to be curious. And from what I've gotten, I think when a parent creates a safe space for them to be the reference point for information, they can help tame that curiosity that is within a child. But I'd like to hear you maybe place a bit more emphasis on the aspect of curiosity and how it plays into sexuality within the adolescent phase of life.
Okay, so let's say, for instance, a girl, maybe they're just out of age and they're curious about their menstruals, their breasts, and all their body features that are changing, and all this comes with feelings, and also just the interaction they are having with friends around, even in schools. They would want to try, they would want to say, maybe they are interacting with a friend who has been kissed before, they also want. So you as a parent, especially if you created that environment where a child can come to you, can ask questions, I'm feeling like this. It is very difficult actually to be a child and say, this is what I feel. But then as a parent, you know that they feel like that. You need to have strategies such as redirecting their energy. For example, take them to music. If there is a talent they like, support them, be there for them, spend more time with them especially. Because when children are teenagers, they don't actually like spending time with parents.
Oh, no.
They want to go and explore, they want to go and be with friends.
Yes.
They want to do their own things. It's like they're creating their own world. And to some extent, they feel like maybe are too backwards and maybe certain things you don't know. So as a parent, you need to be updated with what is happening, but make sure that you redirect that energy in the choir. For example, if it's in the church, let the youths be active. And that's why personally I'm very keen on the youths, because if as a church you have no strategies on how you're going to groom the youths, you are killing the church. So make sure as a church you have strategies of them having recreation, them going for evangelism, them playing instruments such as keyboards. They're interested in this. Those things make them feel like they're on top of the world. You as a parent, make sure you support, you escort them for games, you do what and what. You find that energy they have, it's redirected. And that if it's at home, nowadays, especially in town settings like Lusaka, I find that teenagers have no roles at home. Sometimes maids are doing these things for them. They are doing gardening, they are sweeping for them, they are washing for them. As a parent, that is the time to fire these domestic workers. You have your teenagers. Instead of them being in rooms and also watching bad things, get rid of workers and bring on board your teenagers to make sure that they are helpful. You find that in a day, they have little time to focus on unproductive things like having conversations on sex. And then there's this aspect that is coming where children are sending nude pictures to boys, to girls. That should also come. As a parent, they should know that you are aware of these things. Yes. So make sure that you discuss them. That is not your body. Already you told your child that your body should not be touched. Even sin, your body should not be seen. And make sure that if someone is to see your nakedness, they should pass through a process. There is a protocol they should follow. Your father should be involved. Your mother should be involved. They should come here and give us respect because we have invested so much in you. Make sure that you start putting positive things in these children, and they should be looking forward to a day they should have sex with their partner and become one and have children and have a home. So we need to redirect their energies, and as parents, we should not just be too judgmental and too reactive.
Yes.
Why are you with this boy? Why are you interacting with this person? They will start hiding, and when they start hiding, it's not safe for them and for you. But when you see something is bad and you discuss, you talk about it with them, you find that they will appreciate that.
Absolutely, that is very profound. What I get from what you're saying is that the aspect of purity is very important. I think a lot of times, many of us, especially ladies, young ladies, will attest that we got the talk when we became mature or started experiencing our menses, because at that point, any sexual activity will result in pregnancy. But from what I'm hearing from you, it's not just about avoiding pregnancy. It's not just about avoiding diseases. Those things, yes, must be avoided, but there is the value that you're placing on the sanctity of marriage, the holiness of marriage, and the safety of marriage. Because there are young people, teenagers, that are practicing safe sex. They know how to use contraceptives, they know how to keep themselves from not getting pregnant and from not getting all these diseases. But the truth of the matter is that fornication with contraceptives or fornication without contraceptives is still the same thing. And you might not get sexually transmitted diseases, but you might get sexually transmitted demons. That's something to think about. So I think I really appreciate the aspect that you have brought out. And I think I would like you to just wrap up any messages that you have specifically targeted towards parents and guardians of adolescents, and also just a special word to the adolescents and the teenagers, because I know your heart is very inclined towards that age group.
Yes, so to the parents, please be open-minded and have conversation with your children. Mothers, have conversations with your sons, because most of the time you find that when your sons grow, they would want certain things to be done in the way their mother did. And having such conversations will help your sons when they have their own children. They will talk to their wives. This is how mom communicated this information to us. And also, you should know your children and what triggers them. What conversations can you have with them? And you should just know how to go about it. And please, having these discussions is not a taboo. And sometimes you don't have to hire people to talk to your child. You do it yourself. And also to the teenagers, I know that here you want to experiment, you want to experience certain things, but you should know that decisions that you make at this age will influence the kind of sexual life that you may have. If you keep having multiple sexual partners, marriage is not a guarantee that you will change. You will never be satisfied. And that's why for me it's very important even to just have one sexual partner in your life, because if you have multiple, you find that when you enter marriage, you will start comparing one by one and you will never be satisfied no matter which person you meet. So make sure that your decisions will help you even when you get into marriage. And I think we are going to have one episode where we can talk about sex in marriage and how important it is. So decisions that you make as a teenager, you are making life-changing decisions. If you fail grade 9, it's a life-changing decision. If you fail grade 12, you are still a teenager, it's a life-changing decision. So if you're involved in sex, you start having children. By the time you're 18 years, you have 3 children. By the time you reach 26, you will know that you made a lot of mistakes. So try to avoid this by refocusing, engage in talents, discover yourself, know what you like, go to school, get educated, go and experience university life. And even when you enter university, it's not time for you to be excited about sex. It's time to you to be excited about you being independent and making your life decisions. That will help you even when you grow up. And you see, if you set a very bad example now, you find that if you start having children in your teen age, by the time you reach 35, your children will be teenagers. And it will be very difficult for you to control your teenagers. They will always refer to your teen life and your influence is diluted.
Absolutely. Well, we as the Family Life Department are very invested in this topic. That's why we have laid the foundation, and in previous episodes we have spoken about sexuality education for the young ones who are about the age of 5 or younger, and we have also discussed in this episode sexuality education for the adolescents, specifically the strategies that can be used by parents to convey this information to their teens. And Sister Ines has also wound up very nicely by setting us up for the next episode, where we'll be discussing sexuality in marriage for those that are young adults that are preparing to get married or have already gotten married. And I do hope that you have been inspired. So for this type of content and more information on this, you should make sure you like our video, you should subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any time that we upload an episode. So do take care, and thank you so much.